Allah! Mama, where are you? Hey, Mommy. Allah! Allah! Mom! Mommy!
Hi, so today I'm just going to share a few things that I've been thinking about or been challenged with this week. First one is just a quote, which is by Elizabeth Elliot, which I found encouraging. It says, "This job has been given to me to do, therefore it is a gift, therefore it is a privilege, therefore it is an offering I may make to God, therefore it is to be done gladly, if it is done for Him. Here and not somewhere else I may learn God's way. In this job, not in some other, God looks for faithfulness." So I quite like what it says, how it's a gift. If anything that is given to us is a gift, whereas sometimes we might see things more as burdens or a hassle, especially if it's a job. So I like that mindset, that if a job's been given to me to do, then it's a gift, and therefore it is a privilege, and it's an offering I can make to God, and I should do it gladly. And God is looking for faithfulness in whatever job He's given us to do, even if it doesn't seem very important. Another thought I've been thinking about, I was reading the Keys for Kids before school at breakfast time. Usually I do either one of these or a Bible story. But I actually often find these really helpful. And this one, it was about a boy who was making maple syrup with his parents, and he was complaining because it was so much work and it took so much time, and at the end they only had a little bit of syrup. It's not like all their work made a whole lot of syrup. And he says, "Making maple syrup takes too long. Wouldn't it be a lot easier to buy some?" And the mum says, "Yes, but it wouldn't be nearly as good. We're going for quality." And then the mum says, "When the result is quality, a little means a lot." Now, I found that thought encouraging. There's all different ways you can apply that, but this week I found it helpful in regards to time. There are so many things I would like to do, and sometimes I feel like I need so much more time to do those things, and yet sometimes the more time you try to set aside for things, the busier you get with other things, and often it can be out of your control. I know when Lydia was younger, we had so many appointments to go to, and it felt frustrating because that was not how I wanted to be spending my time. I had other things that I felt more important that I wanted to do, and yet with God, a little means a lot when the result is quality. And through those times with Lydia, I learnt so much. And another thing it said in the story was, sometimes what looks little has great value. So sometimes we think we need more of something. It might even be money or whatever, maybe more things, or and yet God may actually say you need less. Like in the story of Gideon, I don't know exactly what Gideon thought, but I could imagine he thought he needed more soldiers because there were so many of the Midianites. And yet God says you've got too many, and He stripped His army right back to only 300 men, which was a very small army compared to the Midianites, and that's how God wanted it, because then He would get the glory. Like, He doesn't need what we always think we need more of this, or we need more of that, or we need less of something, like less work or less problems or whatever, and God sometimes says you actually need more. So with God, a little can mean a lot. And one last thought is that if we are a Christian, then what we want is kind of irrelevant. Like sometimes we think, what do we want to do? What do we want to do with our life? What do we want to do with our time? And it can kind of become all about us and about what we want. And yet if we are a Christian, the question isn't what we want. The question is, what does God want? And that might sound really kind of negative or sound not nice, but if you think of God being the one who knows way better than us, if you think of God being the one who has all the wisdom, the one who knows what the future holds, then it actually makes very good sense that we should be thinking, what does God want? Because He knows far better than us. But if we are a Christian, then the question for any decision we make is not what do I want, or what do I think is best. The question is, what does God want?